With Escoffier's first rerun in 6.4, a lot of players are asking the same question. Is she still worth it? She has great synergy alongside her fellow rerunner Skirk, but does that actually justify the investment? Without wasting time, let's break down exactly what she does, how she plays, and where she really fits. Escoffier is an off-field cryo support who scales off attack. She provides three main things: consistent off-field cryo damage, cryo and hydro resistant shred, and team-wide healing. Her rotation is extremely simple. Start by activating a skill which deals sustained cryo damage while maintaining her resistant shred. Then use her burst to provide party-wide healing and additional cryo damage before you swap into the next character. Just as a quick note, if your team already runs a dedicated healer, you can even skip her burst entirely and treat her purely as a skill-based cryo sub-DPS. Now here's the important condition. To unlock her full 55% cryo and hydro resistant shred, she must be played in a freeze team, meaning alongside both cryo and hydro units. Without that synergy, she loses a significant portion of her overall value. It's also worth pointing out that her skill damage is primarily single target with a small AoE. Although this isn't really a downside, since her uptime is high enough to maintain consistent shred on priority targets. So at a baseline, Escoffier is easy to play with low field time and is very rotation friendly, but she is highly team dependent. With that in mind, let's talk about talent priority. Most of Escoffier's damage and cryo application comes from her elemental skill, so that should be our highest priority. Her burst comes next mainly for improving her healing and damage. Her normal attack can safely be leveled last or ignored entirely. Once her talents are sorted, the next step is choosing the right weapon. Her signature weapon, Symphonist of Sense, is her best in slot choice. It directly enhances her attack scaling damage and healing while boosting her overall contribution to freeze teams. It's essentially tailor-made for her kit. If you're looking at more accessible options, Blackcliff Pole can work as a crit stat stick, but don't spend Star Glitter to get it just for her. The Battle Pass option Deathmatch is her most consistent 4-star choice thanks to its crit rate and reliable stat distribution. Tamayurite no Ohanashi is another alternative if you need extra attack and energy recharge for smoother rotations. As for 5-star stat sticks like Primordial Jadewing Spear, they're perfectly usable if you already own them, but they don't provide any real synergy with the off-field skill-focused playstyle, so they're more of a convenience option. Once you've chosen a weapon, let's move on to artifacts. Her best artifact set is 4-piece Golden Troop. It directly buffs off-field skill damage and is the most consistent option across all content, even in freeze teams. If you're running her in a dedicated freeze team against freezable enemies, 4-piece Blizzard Stray can be used as an alternative. However, its value drops significantly against bosses that can't be frozen. For main stats, you'll own an attack percent or energy recharge sense depending on your ER needs, then a cryo damage bonus goblet, though attack percent can work if substats are better, and lastly a crit rate or crit damage circlet, whichever balances your ratio better. For substats, prioritize energy recharge until you hit roughly 150 to 200%, depending on your team. Then focus on crit rate and crit damage, and finally attack percent. As a general benchmark, aim for 2000 attack, 150 to 200% energy recharge, and a solid crit ratio as a starting point. Once a build looks solid, the final step is putting her in the right teams. Escoffier performs best in dedicated freeze teams. Her highest ceiling team is Skirk, Furina, Escoffier, and Shenhe. Here's why it works. Escoffier's team-wide healing allows Furina to stack fanfare quickly, increasing the team's overall damage. She also works super well with Shenhe, who provides flat cryo damage bonuses and additional resistant shred. And obviously Skirk benefits from a debuff to dish out big damage. For a more accessible option, you can go with Skirk or any other cryo/hydro DPS. Then Xingqiu and Escoffier alongside any other 4-star cryo or hydro units, like Layla or Dahlia. Xingqiu maintains freeze uptime while Escoffier provides resistant shred and damage. Dahlia offers attack speed buffs while Layla provides shielding and cryo resonance. The ceiling is lower than the premium version, but the structure remains the same. Escoffier amplifies your main DPS while enabling consistent freeze reactions. Now, she does have some niche value outside freeze. In Melt Team, she can function as a secondary cryo applicator and healer. However, she loses a large portion of her resistant shred potential in these teams, and her overall value is noticeably lower compared to dedicated freeze setups. So while she isn't completely locked to freeze, that's very clearly where she performs best. Finally, let's talk about Constellations. C1 gives your freeze team a massive cryo crit damage boost. C2 adds attack scaling bonus cryo damage whenever teammates deal cryo damage themselves. C3 is a straight skill talent upgrade. C4 improves her healing uptime and lowers her energy needs, making rotation smoother. C5 raises her burst level by 3. And C6 unlocks her strongest damage spike, adding large attack scaling cryo hits triggered by the active character's attacks. Her most efficient stopping point is C1. It's her biggest real spike for team damage. Although C0 Escoffier is fully functional as long as she's played in proper freeze teams. So with all of that covered, is Escoffier still worth it? If you're building around Skirk or investing heavily into freeze teams, Escoffier is exceptional and effectively premium tier within this niche. But if you prefer flexible reaction teams or don't plan to commit to freeze, her value drops considerably. Ultimately, she's powerful, she's efficient, but she's specialized. If this helped you out, consider liking the video and subscribing for more Genshin World Guides, and let me know if you're planning to pull for Escoffier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.